And here we go. Okay, Baruch Hashem. We continue learning about Rina, about singing, about praises. First of all, I just want to give a praise. You know, the chevra that comes together every day, the 5, the 6, the 7 guys. Everyone who's listening, I should say the 500, the 600. But really, it's in your schos that Baruch Hashem, we get to spread the Torah to many, many more people. Because we all know that when you talk live to someone, it makes... it's much deeper, it's much more real. So a tremendous shkoyach to the chevra that finds the time daily, and anyone else who'd like to, please feel free. But let's talk about Rina. And yesterday we learned that the Rambam teaches that Rina is a critical avodah, a critical element in tefillah. And the Rambam taught us that if one doesn't praise Hashem, it's not called prayer. And it's a very deep item, and the question is really, why is that true? If I talk to my father, I didn't pray to him? So Shearim Pincus goes one step deeper. And he says, what I'm referring to is the type of tefillah called avodah. And now he says something which I don't know how many times in the whole Sefer he says this. He says, Lule de mistafina. If I wasn't afraid, I would say, meaning he's saying a bit of a novelty. And he's saying that there's a novel idea. There's something called tefillah, and there's something called avodah. And we know the Mishnah in Avos calls avodah shebelev, and the real heights of the world are what? Are avodah. So what is the difference between tefillah and avodah? And he explains that avodah is like a carbon. Who do you bring a carbon to? If I would tell my friend, I love you so much, I'm going to cut and kill an animal in your honor. Guys don't look at me like I'm strange. What are you doing? You don't sacrifice something. We might say that we'll sacrifice something. We don't actually sacrifice something only to God or to one who worships idols. And the reason is that when we recognize how everything comes from Hashem, the oneness, the absolute divinity of God, the ultimate omnipresent over the entire world, now it can make sense to go all the way to this point that we'll even kill something for Hashem's sake. But the only way to get there, to get to this place that we realize that Hashem is that great, is how? Is by praising Him. Is by constantly saying how amazing Hashem is, how awesome He is, how blessed is He, how in control He is. So the praises are a way to show us who we are talking to. That we're not just talking to someone who could help. We're not just talking to a friend. We're talking to the divine. We're conversing with this entity that's literally larger than life. And only with that realization, only once that really settles, and the more we praise, and the more we come to think about how amazing and how lofty and how high God is, only then can we begin to pray. So he says, this is the chiddush. If I say to Hashem, help me, I need parnasa, I need shidduchim, I need health, I need help with the co-workers. But I say it to Hashem in what manner? Knowing Hashem could help. He says that's not called avodah. That's a tefillah, it's a prayer. It's a prayer, you know that the person could help you, so you're praying to him. But if you daven in a manner that you realize the incredible loftiness of Hashem, how He's the ultimate divine, how He's greater than everything, and then you ask Him for that from a place of appreciating, recognizing, starting to try to fathom how amazing He is, then it's no longer just a tefillah. That's avodah. That's what it means to serve Him. So what are we doing this whole chapter about Rina? And he's going to continue teaching us how Rina singing, of course, comes from where? Comes from simcha, comes from joy. And we're going to learn the incredible importance of joy, of singing, of what exactly the element of praise is. But the first step he's teaching us is that this is so important because this is going to propel all our tefillahs from mere bakashos, mere asking of Hashem, to realizing how lofty, high, and great He is. And from that place of greatness, from the place that we'd come to sacrifice to Him, that we'd come to actually be shoifech damai v'chelvoi al mizbeach ba'ahava, we'll shecht an animal that only comes from that place of realizing Hashem's greatness, then it's not a mere tefillah. Then it's avodah. Then it's the pillar of the world. So we want our tefillahs answered. We want that bakasha. We want the world to stand on it. It starts with shevach, with praises, with rina. And in Mirz Hashem, we're going to develop this idea more about praises, different elements of praise throughout davening, the different types of praises. Psiyata dishmaya.